What is your name, please?
My name is Vicki Teal, and I designed this one-piece dress with a peach top and an Art Nouveau print skirt.
My name is Vicki Teal, and I'm wearing black silk harem pajamas trimmed with gold lace.
My name is Vicki Teal, and I'm wearing a cocktail dress I designed. It's black crepe and cut velvet.
Only one of these young ladies is the real Vicki Teal. The other two are imposters and will try to fool this panel. Tom Poston, Peggy Cass, Orson Bean, and Kitty Carlisle on To Tell the Truth. To Tell the Truth is brought to you this evening by Suppose Stockings, the beautifully sheared stockings that look as good as they feel. And now, here's your host, Bud Collier.
Welcome once again to Tell the Truth. Good evening, pal.
Good evening.
Hi, good people. Open up your envelope, if you will, and follow along with me. I'll read you this first story. I, Vicki Teal, and my partner, Mia Fonsagreaves, are American dress designers. Just last year, we decided to go to France and invade the fashion capital of the world, Paris itself. Within 6 weeks, we had achieved the impossible. We became the first American designers ever to show their dresses in a Paris collection. 2 months later, we were asked to design some costumes for the movie What's New, Pussycat? For Ursula Andress, we designed this. And for Paula Prentice, this. We also did the wardrobe for the new Kim Novak motion picture, 13. In our own Paris workshop, we designed dresses, fabrics, hats, and gloves for American manufacturers. Currently, we are doing the wardrobe for our third film. The working title is The Yeah Yeah Girls. The job holds a sentimental fascination for us because the plot of the movie is based on the success story of Mia Fonsagreaves and Vicki Teal. Signed, Vicki Teal. These three young ladies all claim to be Vicki Teal. We start the questioning with Peggy Cass. Peggy?
Thank you, but number two, when you first went to Paris, did you go there with the idea in mind of designing dresses?
Oh, yes.
Oh. Number one, what nationality are Tuffin and Foe?
They're English.
Thank you. Number three, what does it mean in fashion when you use the word youthquake?
Youthful dresses, I suppose.
Number one, what's your father's name?
My father's name is Joseph.
Thank you. Number two, what's your mother's name?
Lisa.
Thank you. Number three, how tall is Paula Prentice?
About 5'7" or 8.
Thank you. Number one, there's a shop in Paris which specializes in copying Chanel's. Do you know?
Orson B. Orson.
Yes, number three, that thing you made for Ursula Andress, she is bountifully endowed by the Creator. Did you have to make it up special? I mean, were there any... you'd have had no trouble fitting her, is what I'm trying to say, right?
No, I didn't fit her.
Oh, somebody else did. You designed the dress, I see. They were extraordinary. Number one, didn't Life magazine do a picture story on you, or was it Look, or one of them?
No, Life magazine did.
Now, I vaguely recall that you had some wild kind of an apartment with a balcony. Is that right?
Yes.
What does it look out onto, the balcony?
Well, it looks on the Avenue Kléber.
I see. Number two, Mary Quant is a dress designer in England who does stuff kind of like a famous Paris designer. Do you know who that is? The Paris one?
No, I'm sorry.
You know who the lady is, though, do you?
Yes, of course I do. She makes the wild things.
Crazy stuff. Number three, how are you?
Kitty Carlisle.
Number one, where do most of the fabrics in France come from?
They're mostly from the south of France.
From where?
Oh, I really don't know about the fabrics.
Do you get your fabrics in France, number two?
I get them anywhere.
Number three, it's considered against the law to pirate models from the French designers. What is the government agency that controls this?
The Chambre Syndicale.
Thank you. Number one, what is a midinette?
I haven't the slightest idea.
Do you know number two?
No.
Oh, my goodness. Things have changed. Number three, was Mia Fonsagreaves' mother a designer?
I think so. She was a model.
She made a beautiful thing for me once.
Tom Poston.
Thank you. Number 1 was Mia Fonsegrive's mother, a designer.
Well, she was a model for Vogue for a long time.
Thank you. Number 3, where is Balmain in Paris? Do you know? The Salle Balmain. That's that salon.
Oh.
You know number 3?
No, I don't. I'm sorry.
Do you happen to know where it is, number 1? It's the only place I know in Paris, so I just wondered. Do you know?
It's a place I don't know, no.
Number 2, do you know where that is?
No.
Number 2, who wrote What's New, Pussycat?
I'm sorry, I don't recall.
Let me ask number 3, where do you get your materials? Look at the different materials in that. Now, where did you get the idea for the difference between cut velvet, gold lace, and peach and whatever that first print was? Number 3, where do you get your materials?
Different fabrics shops.
Do you know where they mostly come from?
That's it. Time for you now to mark your ballots. So, no time to shop for fabrics. Just vote, if you will, please. Vote now, without change, without any consultation. Vote for number 1, number 2, or number 3. And our team of challengers will, of course, receive $250 for every incorrect vote. All ballots marked? Very well. Tom, for whom did you vote?
I voted for number 3, sort of by indirection, I guess. Woody Allen, of course, is the immortal creator of What's New, Pussycat. I should have asked a lot more questions. Well, I wonder why they don't know where Balmain is. I mean, if I know.
Peggy Cat.
But you're squarer than they are. Now, I voted for number 1 because I can't imagine having a wild apartment on the Avenue Kléber, but I stay at a hotel on that street, so for loyalty, I voted for 1.
Good thinking.
Orson B.
You've never been to Allentown, Pennsylvania, though.
Yes, I have.
Have you? There's a little hotel there. I don't want to go into that. I voted for number 3. She has a kind of a soft patrician. She looks like an American girl. She looks like Betsy von Furstenberg a little bit, who's an American girl, the scion of a great German family, though.
Kitty Carlisle.
Well, I voted for number 2. I think that number 2 looks as though she might design far-out clothes, and I'm surprised I didn't know what a midinette was, because those are the little girls that work in the dress business and do all the sewing.
Oh,
Well, yes, that is sad, the way you tell it. The votes are all in and the minds are made up. Now let's find out which of these young ladies, in truth, is Vicki Teal. Will the real Vicki Teal please stand up? Thank you. Number 1, what is your real name and what do you really do?
I'm Kathleen O'Shea, and I'm a researcher for the Reader's Digest.
Thank you. And number 2, what is your real name and what do you do?
My name is Joyanna, and I'm an Oriental belly dancer.
Well, we thank you, and in checking the score, we find that there were 2 incorrect votes. That's twice $250 for a total of $500 for you to divide, ladies. Thank you very much for being with us tonight. Continued success to you, young lady, and goodbye, and God bless you. Let's meet our next team of challengers.
What is your name, please?
My name is Sam Ridgeway.
My name is Sam Ridgeway.
My name is Sam Ridgeway.
Follow along again with your copies of this one, if you will, please, panel. I, Sam Ridgeway, am a veterinarian. I was on assignment to the recent Sealab 2 project of the United States Navy. Sealab 2 was part of the Navy's program to test the capabilities of man to live and work for prolonged periods of time deep under the sea. Last August, I became involved in a unique experiment, helping to teach a porpoise to act as combination errand boy and underwater watchdog for the aquanauts. The porpoise was named Tuffy. He was trained to deliver messages and mail from the surface to the undersea capsule, bring rescue lines to lost divers, and to carry tools to the men working on the ocean floor. Tuffy performed all his tasks so well that the aquanauts voted him a full-fledged member of the Sealab 2 team. Signed, Sam Ridgeway. I'll claim to be, as you heard, Sam Ridgeway. We'll start with Tom Poston. Tom?
Oh, thank you, Bud. Number 2, let me just start off by asking you what maybe the porpoise would guard against. A watchdog against, like what? I mean...
Well, it's mainly as divers go further and further into the sea, they're going to have to protect against sharks, retrieve lost objects, carry things back and forth. The main thing is it's very dark out there, and a porpoise can find its way where humans can't.
Well, yeah, I understand that. But number 3, when you say watchdog, is there a specific thing that the porpoise can guard against, a little toughie there?
Sharks.
Oh, I see. How do they handle them if they find them?
Well, that's something we'd like to know, too.
Oh, but number 1, they do handle the sharks, do they not? I mean, what do they do?
Yes, a porpoise can actually kill a shark simply by ramming.
My God. Number 1,
Peggy Cass.
Thank you. Number 2, is it legal to kill porpoises?
I don't know.
Oh. Number 3, there was a well-known astronaut in your project. Could you tell me his name?
That was Commander Scott Carpenter.
Thank you. Number 1, if you're a veterinarian, I presume you work with dogs. Could you tell me, there's a double vaccine, a preventative vaccine you give dogs. What does that protect them against?
I don't know. I haven't worked with dogs for 12 years.
You've forgotten. Number 2, where was Sealab second located?
Sealab 2?
Yeah.
It was the Scripps Valley off California.
Oh, thank you. Number 3, how did Tuffy know when you wanted him?
Well, the divers could call him.
But by what means? Hey, Tuffy?
An acoustic signaling device.
Thank you. Now, number 1, you had to go...
Orson P.
Number 2, do we know for a fact that porpoises are not smarter than we are?
I think it's very much open to conjecture. It depends on the human being, I'd say.
Yeah, number 3, how close are we to being able to carry on a conversation with a porpoise?
Depends on who you are.
Well, I mean, you're not a big fellow like me, you know what I mean? Number 1, what's the difference between a porpoise and a dolphin?
It's largely a matter of size. They're both cetaceans.
Do you agree with that, number 3?
Yes, there is such a thing as a dolphin fish, but generally porpoise and dolphin refer to the same animal.
Number 3, how many words in a porpoise's language to the best of, say, Dr. Lilly's knowledge?
Oh, well, I don't think that he would know, but that depends on the individual.
Number 2, the individual porpoise or the individual us?
I don't think he's learned that much yet. There's a great deal of work still to be done.
Kitty Carlisle.
Number 1, when you train a porpoise, do you use the same methods as you would any other animal? In other words, kindness and a certain amount of threats?
Rewards, reinforcement.
Well, how
yes.
do you punish a porpoise?
You don't. You reward him with a
And if he
mackerel.
does a bad thing, you never punish him?
No, he'll get hungry after a while.
Thank you. Number 2, was there any problem with the escape hatch with Tuffy?
The escape hatch to what?
To the Sealab. Were you not afraid that he might poke his nose in and get his lungs full of air or something?
No, the porpoise would never do that. There was a sea lion which did that.
But he escaped comfortably?
Yes, the problem was whether his lungs would be crushed, and he'd actually breathe surface air with no harm.
Thank you. Number 3, what did Tuffy bring?
That's it. Time for you now to mark your ballots. So bring yourselves some good votes, if you wish. Mark now without change, without consultation. And vote for number 1, number 2, or number 3. All ballots marked? All right, Tom, for whom did you vote this time?
Well, I just voted this time for number 3 because I thought that his interest in the subject was certainly keen enough. I know mine would be, and his seemed to be, so I thought maybe it was number 3.
Peggy Cass.
Well, you see, number 2 threw in all that stuff about the sea lion, and that threw me off. But I voted for number 3 because I think Tuffy, I love that Tuffy, responded to a bell. And he said it was an acoustical signaling device, and that might be a bell. Right?
Orson P.
That's the parlance of the trade. I voted for number 1 because everyone I've ever come across or read about who had anything to do with porpoises loved them. And when he said we would never punish you, porpoise, he won me over. I think he...
Kitty Carlisle.
Well, I didn't vote for number 1 because I don't believe a veterinarian, even though he hasn't worked with dogs for 12 years, wouldn't know what those double shots were. And number 3 said that you couldn't talk to a porpoise, and I think you could.
Well, I never have, but...
So I voted...
Depends on the individual.
I voted for number 2.
All right, there we have it with the votes in again, and mine's made up, as you heard. Let's find out now which of these 3 gentlemen, in truth, is Dr. Sam Ridgeway. Will the real Dr. Sam Ridgeway please stand up? Incidentally, Dr. Sam Ridgeway is a research veterinarian attached to the U.S. Naval Missile Center, Marine Sciences Division, Point Mugu, California. Point Mugu.
I know a guy who crossed a porpoise with a shark.
Yes, what did he get?
Well, I don't know, but when he talks, I listen.
Number 1. I don't know why I strayed for him. I really don't. Number 1, what is your real name and what do you really do?
My name is Peter Cornwall, and I'm a cargo salesman for Pan American World Airways.
And number 2, what is your real name and what do you do, sir?
My name is Richard Hilliard. I'm a movie producer, and I just completed a film called The Playground.
Well, we checked the score and find that you made out just as well as the first contestants tonight did. There were 2 correct and 2 incorrect. For the 2 incorrect, that's twice $250 or $500, gentlemen. And we hope you had as good a time as we did because we enjoyed it. Good night, and God bless you. Our 3rd team of challengers.
What is your name, please?
My name is Hazel Perper.
My name is Hazel Perper.
My name is Hazel Perper.
Follow along again, if you will, with your copies of this story. I, Hazel Perper, an expert on how to grow beautiful indoor plants from pits and seeds, am the author of the Avocado Pit Grower's Indoor How-To book. All one needs to grow a beautiful plant is an avocado pit, a glass of water, and a few toothpicks. By following simple instructions on watering, pruning, lighting, and transplanting, the avocado will grow from a small seedling to a lush plant, and finally to a handsome indoor tree. The tree you are now looking at was started from an avocado pit, and now, 2.5 years later, stands 8 feet tall. For those who don't fancy the avocado as a house plant, I have other manuals in the works. Among them are the Grapefruit Seed Sprouter's How-To book, and the Green Coffee Bean and Peanut Planter's How-To book. Signed, Hazel Perper. So these 3 ladies all claim to be Hazel Perper. We'll start with Orson Bean. Orson?
I know a guy who planted an olive pit and watered it with martinis. It didn't turn out too well. Number 1, what, did you have a lot of time on your hands, dear, or what?
What was that?
How did you collect all these avocado stones?
Well, you only needed 1 to start the planting.
And all your empire of trees came from 1 lousy stone?
No. I just had an avocado, and I saw the large pit, and I thought it's large enough, it ought to do something.
Yeah.
And so I planted it.
Yeah.
Started from there.
Well, I think that's one of the best stories I've ever heard. Number 3. Now, is there fun and profit in this, or is your house just cluttered up with a bunch of 8-foot-tall trees and you sit around looking at each other?
Well, there's really very little profit in it. It's
Yeah.
just kind of fun.
What'll you take for that? I'll buy that from you in a minute. I love it. $1.25? Just to start. You don't want to sell.
Kitty Carlisle.
Well, I think they're simply beautiful, and I want to know exactly how to do it. Number 2, what are the toothpicks for?
Support the seed in the glass.
Number 3, when do you transplant it from the glass into earth?
Well, after the first shoot has come out on the top,
and you put it in
it's kind of strong, then you put it into the dirt.
Number 1, if you plant a peanut seed, what is a peanut seed anyway?
A little peanut.
Do you plant a real peanut?
Yes, a little peanut. But it has to be a raw peanut.
And do you get peanuts once it's grown?
Well, if it grows, you will.
Do you get grapefruit, number 2, if you plant a grapefruit seed?
Yes.
Number 3, how long will that tree last, for instance?
Forever. It will never die.
Number 1, do you... Oh, you're laughing.
Well, I didn't mean to.
will it die?
Tom Poston.
Number 2, are you afraid of snakes and reptiles in there? You look like you're in a jungle.
I'll hold my own.
Number 2. I see. Number 2, what are those other plants at the base of your avocado tree?
Grapefruit and orange.
Oh. Some weeds.
Now, I would like to ask number 3, please, where... I never saw these books in a bookstore. Where could I get a copy of these books? 'Cause...
Well, it's in most of the stores, the avocado book.
Okay. Number 1, tell me, what can I do about steam heat? I can't get anything to grow in my apartment in the wintertime because of the heating and so forth. What could I do?
Oh, steam heat? You mean in terms with an avocado? How to grow?
I have a plant.
It loves the heat. You know, it's a semi-tropical plant.
Yeah. Number 2.
Peggy Cass.
Thank you. Number 3, how many times have you repotted that plant since it was the size of number 1 seedling there?
Twice.
That big one, I mean, up there.
Twice.
Wow. Number 2, is that plant subject to aphids?
No.
Thank you.
Not indoors.
Number 1, can you get a new avocado tree from cuttings of the other tree?
No, you have to have the seed.
Thank you. Number 2, what is guacamole?
I have no idea.
Thank you. Now, number 3, I have often tried to grow these avocado trees. I'm very personally interested. They always go straight up. There's about 4 leaves at the top, and then they go... Now, I want to know what I do wrong in about 10 words.
Well, because you're afraid to cut it back.
Yes, I don't want to hurt
When
it.
it's about 6 inches.
That's it. Time for you to cut your pencils back and mark your ballots.
I'm going to get that book.
Mark them at once, if you will, please, without any consultation. Just vote now, without change also. And vote, if you will, for number 1, number 2, or number 3. All marked in a hurry. Very well, Tom. For whom did you vote?
I voted for number 2, and when that tree gets ripe enough to bear fruit, you better find out what guacamole is, because that's the best you could have for avocados, I think.
Peggy Cass.
I couldn't vote for number 2 because if she didn't know what guacamole was, she's an intimately acquainted. It's a kind of a delicious mush that you make out of it. I voted for number 3 because she's just a ruthless kind of a person that could cut a poor avocado back.
How are things in guacamole?
I had a terrible case of guacamole once. It was an awful...
Orson, how did you vote?
Number 1 is charming, and it probably is number 1. Could be number 2. I voted for number 3 because that plant was trying to edge over towards her there.
Kitty Carlisle.
I voted for number 2. They're all charming. They look like flowers in a bower. But when number 2 said, you don't get aphids, Peggy, indoors, I thought
sure
that...
do. I get them on my plants. I'm always brushing them off. Indoors? You betcha.
My dog came home with a whole snoot.
All right. Votes are all in. Minds are made up. Now let's find out, if we can, which of these 3 ladies, in truth, is Hazel Perper. Will the real Hazel Perper please stand up? Come on. Number 1, what is your real name and what do you really do?
My name is Kay Morrow. I'm a social director for business conventions. I was supposed to sound Southern.
Number 3, what is your real name and what do you do?
My name is Irene Sarno, and I'm a children's voice teacher.
Well, in checking the score, it's not the same as the other 2 rounds, but the results are pretty much the same. There were 2 correct and 2 incorrect. And that means for the 2 incorrect votes, you get $250 apiece, or a total, again, of $500. Thank you, ladies. Hope you enjoyed it, too. Goodbye, and God bless you. Well, that's all we have time for. You make it go fast always, panel. I thank you, and good night.
Good night, Bud.
Good night to all of you. Be sure to join us again next week at the same time. Of course, I'll see you tomorrow afternoon on the daytime show. But in the meantime, don't you forget to tell the truth. Bye.
To Tell the Truth is a Mark Goodson, Bill Trotman production. Daytime dress designed by Vicki Teal is manufactured by Carlisle Junior Fashion.
Meet Barbara Streisand, Broadway's brilliant young star, in one of the outstanding specials of recent years. Don't miss her triumphant musical hour, My Name is Barbara, Wednesday evening at 10, 9 Central Time.
To Tell the Truth has been brought to you by Tegrin, the brand new discovery for psoriasis sufferers. Works 3 ways to relieve the symptoms of psoriasis. This is Johnny Olson speaking. For To Tell the Truth, the program was pre-recorded.